Today, we're going to tackle a massive, hyper-relatable mystery. Honestly, it's the strange case of the vanishing paycheck. Picture this scenario for a second. You open your banking app. Your salary arrived just, 10 days ago, and you're feeling pretty good about how careful you've been. But then you look at your balance, and your stomach just drops, because somehow, most of the money is already gone.
And it's completely baffling, right? Because, look, it's not like you went out and bought a brand new phone. You didn't book some luxury vacation to the Bahamas. You actually completely avoided any huge budget-breaking items. You were genuinely careful. You played by the rules. You didn't do anything reckless. Yet here you are, 10 days into the month, and your bank account is looking uncomfortably thin.
So, naturally, you're sitting there asking yourself, where on earth did it all go? And when you try to remember, your memory gets kind of blurry. You can sort of piece it together, but it's basically a fog. A coffee here, a quick food delivery there because you were just too tired to cook, a streaming subscription you totally forgot it even existed, a quick online purchase you made at midnight that seemed, perfectly reasonable at the time. Nothing really looks dangerous on its own, but together, they are quietly, stealthily consuming your financial future. So here is the absolutely crucial point. You do not have a spending problem. You have a visibility problem. That is a massive mindset shift, and honestly, you should let it relieve some of that financial guilt you might be carrying around right now. Money rarely disappears all at once in some giant explosion of terrible decisions. It leaks. It leaks slowly, silently, and almost always unnoticed.
And when you stop and think about it, there's this totally absurd double standard with how we treat this leakage. Think about what happens when a business loses track of its expenses. If a CEO walked into a board meeting and said, "Hey everyone, half our revenue just disappeared and I have absolutely no idea where it went," there would be total panic. Investigations would launch. The CEO would be fired immediately. But when an individual loses half their paycheck, we just shrug our shoulders and go, "I don't know where it went." Millions of people run their personal finances in a way that would instantly destroy a company. So why do we do this? Why do smart, highly capable people let their finances operate in this fog? Well, there are deep physiological and systemic reasons why we are literally wired to lose track of our money.
Section 1. Why our brains fail.
Look, the truth is, we aren't stupid. Our brains are just, terrible accounting systems. Human brains are perfectly designed to remember massive, unique events and high emotional highs. You will always remember buying a car. But human brains are specifically engineered to forget repetitive, mundane data. Things like small daily numbers and tiny recurring charges. We remember the big emotions, but we completely gloss over repetitive numbers. Just look at how the economy has evolved to exploit these exact blind spots over time. Back in the 1990s, we mostly used physical cash. That created friction. There was a literal pain of paying as you physically watched paper money leave your hand. Then, in the 2010s, tapping cards and clicking buttons basically removed that physical sense of loss. Fast forward to the 2020s, and automatic background renewals and subscriptions mean the spending is completely invisible. The less pain involved in spending, the dangerously easier it becomes to bleed cash. So how do we fix this? We've got to make a hard pivot away from the dreaded B word of personal finance. This is the counterintuitive solution that changes everything.
Section 2. Tracking versus budgeting.
We absolutely need to start with tracking. But what does that actually mean in the real world? Tracking is simply turning invisible behavior into visible reality by just observing where your money went without any immediate judgment. When most people hear the word tracking, they instantly picture these giant, miserable spreadsheets where they have to categorize every single cent for hours on end. But the goal here isn't perfection, not at all. The goal is simply creating awareness.
Here's the critical difference you got to understand. A budget, that tells your money where it should go. It's a plan for the future. Tracking, on the other hand, tells you where your money already went. Most people try to budget before they even track their spending. That is completely backwards. It is exactly like trying to lose weight and set on this super strict diet plan without having any clue what you're actually eating on a daily basis.
So I'm officially issuing you a 30-day challenge right now. Step 1, pull up all your bank statements, credit cards, and digital wallets. Step 2, look purely at the last 30 days of history. Record every single coffee, snack, Uber ride, and subscription. And step 3, let reality collide with your assumptions. You can use an app, a simple notebook, a spreadsheet, whatever. The tool you use doesn't matter at all. The visibility is the only thing that matters. Once you do this for just a few weeks, something amazing happens, because this is where the real story of your financial life actually lives.
Section 3. The power of patterns.
Now, what's really interesting is that expenses usually fall into two distinct buckets: intentional spending and automatic spending. Intentional spending is obvious, right? You wanted a jacket, you bought a jacket. But automatic spending, your habits, auto renewals, routine convenience purchases, that is far more dangerous because it completely bypasses your active decision making. You're literally losing money on autopilot.
And this brings us to a really powerful realization from the source material. It goes like this. The numbers are rarely shocking because they're huge. They're shocking because they're repeated. Repetition is where your money vanishes. This is that exact moment someone discovers that their harmless habit of grabbing takeout cost them $300 last month, or when they find 12 separate monthly subscription charges for services they haven't used since last year.
Let's actually break down the math for a second to really see this invisible compounding effect in action. Take a totally insignificant $10 daily expense. A quick lunch, a premium coffee, some digital upgrade. $10 feels completely harmless. Most of us wouldn't even think twice about it. But daily? That becomes roughly $300 a month. Over a year, you are looking at $3,600. But over 10 years, that one single, totally harmless daily convenience purchase balloons to an astonishing $36,000. Think about the irony here for a second. People will spend weeks agonizing and doing all this research over investments, just hoping to squeeze out an extra 2% return, all while completely ignoring the massive spending leaks that are quietly costing them tens of thousands of dollars. The leak is often way bigger than the investment opportunity.
Now hold on a second, I really want to reassure you here. Expense tracking is absolutely not about judgment, and it's certainly not about eliminating pleasure from your life. I know the internet loves to scream at you to cut every coffee and cancel all fun, but the truth is, tracking is simply about alignment. If you deeply value travel and you spend heavily on travel, great. If you love fitness and spend your money there, awesome. The real danger, the real problem is when money flows to places you never consciously chose to send it. And this takes us beyond just personal finance. We really need to elevate this conversation to how we actually survive the modern economy.
Section 4. Financial Self-Defense.
We live in an attention economy, and frankly, it's aggressively designed to separate you from your money automatically. Every single app wants a subscription. Every platform is absolutely desperate for recurring revenue from you. Every store is hyper-optimized for your impulse purchases. The entire system benefits and profits when your spending becomes automatic and mindless. But you only benefit when your spending is conscious.
Because of all that, expense tracking isn't just some boring budgeting exercise anymore. Tracking is an attention skill. It is a vital form of self-defense. By simply shining a light on your spending, you create a natural feedback loop. Studies actually show that people who track their calories eat differently. People who track their steps walk more. And people who track their spending spend differently. The sheer awareness naturally alters your behavior without you even forcing it.
So, I want to leave you with a final question to really chew on today. Just imagine for a second that every single dollar you spent over the next 12 months was displayed on a giant screen right above your head, for the entire world to see. Would anything about your behavior change? And if your answer is yes, what does that say about where your money is really going right now? Take control of your visibility, and you'll take back control of your financial future.